Hello everyone, my name is Happy. About today's topic, I want to talk about something about myself. Therefore, I have a personal story. Once I had a debating with my friends about self. We all have different ideas and sides. I think if one man is always accepting things that's opposite to his opinions or lower his baseline, he will lose the truly self and become ordinary and imperfect. But I'm the person that always wants myself to be perfect. So I don't want myself to accept the new things that are opposite to my old opinions. But actually, I found that I'm being more and more literally, which makes myself imperfect. However, what my friends told me is that I need to accept these disadvantages, to accept the imperfect and ordinary. Not everyone is as perfect as they want. The desire of human is infinity. Even the famous astronomic scientist Stephen Hawking has some disadvantages of his body. So I think no matter what a big effort I made, I can't always reach my desire, but I can become better and better. That's what making efforts really meant to be. This is what I call the new harmony. To always be in harmony with yourself and receive the truly imperfect you. This may be difficult, but always can make you a better person. So, as you know, based on my story, I think that a, a person who is perfect often is not often very beneficial to yourself. This maybe make you tired, make you can't receive the 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 one that is imperfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to have this opportunity to give a speech here today. Have you ever been asked the question, should we give up handwriting letters when we communicate with our family members far away from us, since tons of modern techniques like Facebook, WeChat are readily accessible? Do we still need a real teacher to give us face-to-face lessons, since there are a bunch of online lessons like MOOC, microclass are being provided? People always seem to go to the extremes, like seeking only peace instead of waging wars or conflict that can contribute to harmony. No, I'm going to say, as a matter of fact, traditional germs and modernization can surely go hand in hand to achieve a new harmony. Traditional culture does have its own unique gratefulness. We are intoxicated by the scent of gratin in a delicately engraved inkstone. We are fascinated by the vivid sugarcoat animals Chinese artisans needed. Admittedly, modern technologies also have their irreplaceable values. We cannot imagine how fast maglev trains can take us from one place to another, as we cannot estimate how magnificently 5G communication can change our lives. However, traditional culture is just like a small boat, where modern technology is a pair of paddles. The boat can sail to nowhere without its oars, and the paddles are useless unless they are adopted by rowers on the boat. A new harmony can be achieved by the perfect combination of both traditional culture and modern technology. The same thing is undoubtedly true in the following cases. One of the most famous Chinese traditional paintings, Ascending the River at Qingming Festival, wouldn't have amazed the whole world if it hadn't been combined with the high-tech projection technology. One of the most popular Chinese folk songs, Jasmine, wouldn't have astonished the entire globe if it hadn't been played by a made-in-Japan robot. And one of the most adorable macros, Bing Dun Dun, wouldn't have been acknowledged by the Beijing Winter Olympic if it hadn't been designed both by 3D computer science and by paper cutting artists. Therefore, traditional culture and modern technology are supplementary to each other, impartable to each other, and inseparable from each other. And a new harmony needs a perfect combination.
Hi everyone, today my topic is living in harmony. With the fast development of the world, the ambitions of human beings become bigger and bigger, therefore bring conflicts and wars. Well, some people think that wars maybe can reestablish peace in a more stable way. However, in my opinion, I believe that we should now keep in peace, since the war can cause so much damages. To begin with, it can have a really bad impact on the economics throughout the world. As we all know, starting a war needs a lot of munitions, which will need billions of monies. This can cause the big wave of the real GDP, which means that inflation and recession will occur at the same time all over the world. Therefore, people can't afford a high price on the market, meanwhile losing their job. Thus, if this happens for a long time, then our world system will break up. On top of that, it can have a really serious pollution on the environment. As we all know, the military's job is to send bombs and bullets into the sky. So once these things into the sky, it will cause a lot of toxic chemicals. From the research shows that the chemicals in these bombs and bullets have really bad impact on the environment, since it can change the DNA in the living things, like plants and vegetation. And if these things change, then they can't proceed their regular photosynthesis. So it will cause our world lack of oxygen. Therefore, it is surely not suitable for us to live. In addition, the damage to the soil is also considerable, since it changed the chemical proportion and substance in the soil. It makes the soil sterile. Thus, no food can grow from the land, and then the land will become desert, which is surely not the best way for us to choose. And finally, it can also cause a lot of waste, since once the wars begin, all the bombs are located in several places, and when the time is up, the resource in the area just blowed up, and all the resources is gone. So nowadays the worlds are in a resource emergency condition, and we really need to think twice to make a comprehensive decision. To sum up, with all the
Hi, I'm Joanna. I want to use a story to begin my speech. It was a raining day and there was lots of mud and water in the campus. Auntie was busy with cleaning it. I went back to the homeroom and found the door was locked. And there was a big water stain in front of the door. I got some tissue to clean it up. When I was almost done, I saw the cleaner walking towards me and her face was filled with smile and a sense of sorry. "It is my work, let me do that," she said thankfully. "Thanks for doing all the hard work for us, Auntie," I replied her politely. "Not a big deal, it's my job. But you're the first student to say thanks to me since I worked here." When I heard this word, I said nothing because I felt very ashamed. There are lots of articles and websites or newspaper pay lots of attention on gender discrimination or the racism. It's very good, but they ignore a very common phenomenon in our world that's named level gap. Lots of students, even adults, regard that it is their obligation to do such hard work for people, so it is necessary to say thanks to them. But why? Why the people who has a relatively low situation in the world will do the hard work to you? It is a very meaningful question. Fortunately, there were lots of students and some teenagers are paying attention and aware of these problems. They are using their own strengths to help the world to be more and more good. So, as for me, I want to use my own efforts to let more people to pay attention on these things, because gender discrimination or racism segregation may be kind of very difficult job to solve it, but the level gap in our society is relatively easy than that. If people have a right attitude and a sense of responsibility of the world, they can change, and the world will become much more better. So no one is an island. I think if people can do it and notice it, the whole...
Hi, I'm Alice. Thank you so much for watching my video. As most of you just sit in front of the screens, I'm the very ordinary teenager. And today I want to make a speech on a new harmony between teenagers and their parents. Well, as we all know, there's always conflict between teenagers and their parents. And sometimes the parents can't understand us properly. And we, on the other hand, can't manage to understand them. So what's the result? There may be a conflict, a quarrel, and sometimes even a fight. And finally, you will find yourself trying to escape from your parents subconsciously. But some people will say, well, what's wrong? That's fine. That's a balance. But I will say, no, it isn't. It's not the right way you treat your parents. It's not the right way you get along with them. So, let me tell you something about how to get along well with your parents and how to construct a better family tie. Well, the very crucial thing is understanding. I mean, you should know about your parents. You should know about what your parents are carrying, the responsibility. Take myself as an example. Once I took my younger brother to a shopping center, and I find there is something that keeps me from happy. The responsibility. My brother was so annoying and naughty. And at last, I just can't help shouting at him. Let's go home if you just can't stop talking. So, this is really my first time to realize to be a parent is really difficult. Then you will ask me, what should I do? Well, I will tell you that try to communicate with your parents as much as possible when they forget the string. You need more communication with your parents to let them know who you really are and what you really want. And what's more, that you really love them. Hopefully, in this way, you can construct a better family tie. At least it won't get much worse than now it is, right? So-called new harmony is a solid foundation for the good family tie. It's all about communication and understanding. If you love your parent from the deep, deep heart, so why are you acting as you hate them over and over again? Let's take some action.
New Harmony. Hello everyone, I am Wang Zijun from the 17th class of the International Department of Qingdao High School. Today I want to talk about my understanding for New Harmony. To begin with, it seems a New Harmony is far away from us, yet it's also very close to us. In the long river of history, the definition of harmony has never been marked with an answer. As time goes by, our definition of harmony has also changed, but we still need to look into the idea of the harmony. Whether it's 5,000 years in China or in Frisian area, the definition of harmony only refers to the peaceful coexistence between two countries, avoiding war under the combination of power and power. For a country at that time, the road of peace came from the greatest of the military, the London development, his farmers, to support his soldiers. People had not yet thought of peaceful coexistence. But looking at the correct development of the world, we have made quietly leaps in the definition of harmony. People often say that war is breeding new peace, helping forming alliances and sharing records in history. The strong building the weak. Today, it's the mutual assistance. Developing countries provide assistance to developing countries, and developing countries are also working hard to achieve prosperity. Here I want to share with you, for example, my part motherland, China, is now developing the Belt and Road Initiative, which is the good example for harmonious development. China's economy is currently in a bottleneck. That means reaching a temporary peak. Factories are overcapacitated and ordinary customers are incapable of spending. This problem is very serious. This was the state of Western capitalist countries before World War I and World War II. Of course, in the end, they chose a crude way to transfer the contradiction, killing millions of Christians. Fucking similar challenge. Chinese government come up with One Belt, One Road, where we trade and help the developing countries. We can also apparently shift our domestic conflict. Factory products will have new markets for themselves. Ultimately, people will also have more employment and income opportunities. China want to show to the rest of the world that instead for cruel war money, communication and harmony can solve the problem. Some may question, is there any benefit to the countries along our way? Of course there is. Well, actually, there are many. They can get lost from factional instruction like Asia Eastment Bank. Also, China will provide the technology to teach the local people and therefore help them out the provided. For example, we help many African countries build train. After finish the construction, we hire local people to drive the trains, teach them to fix the railroad, and eventually train them to serve customers, local citizens, but also find jobs and make money. At the end of my speech,
Greetings. It is my great honor to stand here and share my feelings about the new harmony. But before we jump right into the topic, I have a question for you. What do you think is the fundamental difference between us and other animals? You may say it is the ability of speaking a complete language, or the capability of creating and utilizing complicated machines or tools. But from my own perspective, I think it is actually the relationship that we are in with our surrounding environment that makes us special. Animals live in what I call the old harmony, in which they are required by the environment to change themselves to adapt to the environment. For example, the choices are quite simple for a rabbit. It is either you run fast and maintain high birth rate, or you go extinct. But for humans, things are totally different. We fight back. We have the ambition and the capability of changing the environment, of making the environment suitable for us to live in. We humans have jumped out of the old harmony and are on the way of creating a new harmony. We have made steady progress in establishing this new harmony among ourselves. Ever since the 1600s, the world has been connected. We have traded, shared information, helped and supported each other, and established these effective and complete international organizations. All of these together set up the most strong and effective intra-species bond that the Earth has ever seen. The boom of technology has also given new possibilities to the new harmony. Advanced irrigational and agricultural systems has prevented us from fighting for food, while the internet and the inventions of new transportations have permitted us to connect with the rest of the world more easily and more tightly. Meanwhile, the advancement of society and the establishment of countries have set up rules that guarantee the harmony between individuals, while the creation of new occupations and the detailed assignments of these occupations have also relieved the survival stress and competence. Although wars and inequality thus still exist, we humans have no doubtedly established a new harmony among ourselves that exists in no other species on Earth. While our next goal shall be to restore harmony with the environment, the effects of our machines and technologies had on the environment was devastating. Mother Earth may not always forgive us for digging holes in her face and burning off her sun umbrella. In order to protect the environment, all humans, all countries should unite as a whole. Strong countries like the United States should not care only for their own interests, Rather, countries all around the world should lay their eyes on the benefits of the human race as a whole. Together, we stand as humans. Together, we can stop war and discrimination. Together, we can build a new, bright future through cooperation and establish
240 kilometers per hour, 7,000 RPM. That's when everything came to a sudden stop. Time runs slower, youth escapes slower, life goes slower. That is when I find myself in a state of a brand new harmony. That is when I notice that I'm born for auto racing. That is, I know that I'm bonded with the racetracks and the race flags like a legend behind the wheels. Ever since I found this new sense of belonging, this new state of harmony, I can fairly say that my high school life has really turned up to an alternative path and directed onto the right track. My grades became fantastic, and my life schedule has also become more disciplined, fulfilled, healthy, and energetic. More and more achievements came up to me continuously. The establishment of this brand new harmony between my mind and my interest is no easy task. But I'd rather would say that my life without it is incomplete, which composes most of my years in middle school. So yes, it's worth it spending time to feel my interest and hobby thoroughly, sincerely, feeling carefully for every single inch and create a perfect harmony. So yes, I know quite well the importance of having a new harmony with my hobby and passion. I know quite well the sensation and confidence it could bring to a high schooler or to anyone. Each night before I go to sleep, each morning before I turn up to school, I can deeply sense the integration and unity between my hobby and mind. They came to a grand resonance. A beautiful one, a beautiful harmony. Everyone deserves to own it. It's such an abstract concept when discussing a new harmony. I mean, a harmony, what's a harmony? Should it be peaceful? Should it be chaotic? Or should it be aggressive? I don't know. No one knows. I think it shouldn't be defined. All I know about mine is that it's derived upon a connection between my mental state with the sensation I feel from my passion, auto racing. Harmony in this case is like water, not shapeable, undefinable, but could be felt and could be enjoyed so hard. Hence, I believe the harmony doesn't need to be defined, since it could be anything, any sort. Knowing that it's being there and also having it is good enough to drive and motivate us to embrace ourselves, improve the competence, and reach even greater qualities in our life. At this modern era where everything and everyone is such in a fast pace, everything which are not as practical as working, earning income, or studying are being overlooked. Despite someone may have a passion or interest in their life, it's very likely that they wouldn't even consider or even have the awareness to build a new harmony between their hobbies and their mind. It's never late for anyone to establish their harmony with their passion, no matter you're an adult, a teenager, or still being a kid. Because whenever you find the one that you think's right for you to bond, it's always going to generate the same level of mental resonance that makes you energetic for you to achieve a better academic development, career development, and life development. But of course, the earlier the better, because the more time you spend with the mental harmony, the firmer the resonance that you'll be able to build among yourself and your harmony. And the earlier you'll benefit and succeed from having it in your life. As the children grow, soon they become the teenagers. It's extremely essential for them, the teenagers, or even smaller kids, to find their own unique harmonies, new harmonies, beautiful harmonies. The guardians, teachers, and parents are encouraged to guide the children to explore the world without over-interfering. Let them find their own unique harmony that they're willing to embrace naturally. There's no better or privileged new harmonies comparing with the others, but only the ones that make each person themselves passionate, feels destined.
Harmony, a state of peaceful coexistence. It can be the color of nature or a piece of melody. But today, what I want to talk about is related to architecture. Wow, now I'm living in Shanghai, a such modern city in China. flashing neon lights, popular computerized information. Sometimes it does create a sense of cyberpunk. However, when people hear about description of bustling scene, the places in our mind are not the same. Obviously, I will think of Shanghai, but you probably will think of London, and your friend will probably think of New York. What does that mean? Different regions represent a very similar scene. Actually, there's a word that can describe this situation, which is homogenization. In a nutshell, it's just about the fleeting development of the technology is gradually covering the features of different cities, which causes that there's fewer differences between each regions. If they lost their uniqueness, there are plenty of losses for us. For example, the biggest regret is that wherever you go, the views you can see are similar. Maybe you spend several hours to cross the Pacific, you can't see any difference between those two areas. And in this case, a horrible thing is that when someone mentions about Shanghai but a picture of Seoul or somewhere else coming up in your mind, we cannot associate anything about the country while we are talking about it, which implies the features of this country are fading. Besides, a lot of things such as traveling become unnecessary. That is time-wasting and money-consuming to travel to different countries or cities if you can see the same view as you just opened the window next to you. How pathetic it is! However, the silver lining is that there are still many Asian architectures today. They carry cultures and record histories. Although they are not trendy, they are unique and meaningful. For instance, the Great Wall of China. It is a series of fortifications that were built across the historical northern borders of ancient Chinese states and imperial China as protection against various enemies. Apart from defense, other purposes such as collecting taxes on goods transported along the Silk Road and control of immigration. It's a precious heritage left to us by the ancient Chinese laborers. It has become the essence of our national spirit. As a defensive military architecture, the Great Wall indicates that we should cherish peace and oppose war. Honestly, too many Asian cultures do make younger generation bored, but they are not willing to let the sentiment disappear as well. So, here's a new harmony, which are the old buildings and trendy mansions. The two are not in conflict but coexist peacefully. In today's society, both are indispensable. The disappearance or imbalance of either side will be regrettable. What I want to say is that we should cherish the harmony at present. We can feel the characteristic culture brought by the old.
Hello, I'm Jackie from Guangzhou Foreign Language School, an IB course learner. Today I will talk about the new harmony. People's cooperation and communication need harmony. Harmony helps people understand each other, and people can feel the concern and love in it. That's why it is the key to human beings that can live together. Sometimes people have rubs when they get along, and this inspired me to tell you a story where I found a new harmony from the rub. I was born and live in southern China, a humid and hot place. This is especially true when summer comes. What's worse, when you happen to be in a stuffy bus or metro here in summer, not only will you be surrounded by people, but also a terrible smell that makes you feel fainted. I would pray and wish I would never hop onto any bus or train with this smell. But guess what? I just ran into one. Not a train, not a bus, but my friend. I had a good friend from junior high school. We always help each other and keep us in harmony. One day we went for dinner together. I suddenly noticed a terrible smell that was just like one in a crowded bus. I was annoyed as soon as I smelled that. That's how we started a fight. I asked him, "Did you take a shower today?" He answered with puzzle, "Why should I take a shower today? I was busy today, and we argued and argued with no end. He insisted that people should not take a shower so frequently. We did not reach any agreement, and at last, we left with anger. After that, we did not talk to each other, and it seemed our friendship came to an end. Actually, I had some regrets. I wanted to rebuild our friendship because he was a warm-hearted boy but just a little stubborn like me. So I went find him for a talk in person with him. He told me that he used to live in northern China. It was too cold and people wore very thick clothes which were inconvenient to wash. Another reason is the dry weather in northern China. People will not sweat easily. We suddenly found that our cultures were so different, and we laughed together. We found that we were grew up in places with different climates and routines. But this would not be a real problem for our friendship. And I tried to understand the culture behind him. He shared some different foods with me. For instance, the dumpling. I used to eat sweet dumplings, but he ate salt dumplings instead. I found it strange but still willing to taste other different types of food there. What's more, I found that kinds of new harmony not only build up me in my life, the same thing can also happen between different cultures. The cultural difference between the different regions may cause some problems at first, or they only keep themselves away from each other. But moreover, the cultures should communicate with each other and have development, which means